All right. How's it going, Taliant? Or should I say Sliceblade now?
I think we're going pretty permanently with the Sliceblade. So I think it's time. It started as a joke. It's just been too much fun to give it up. So
Well,
I think that's
you
what
got
we're
a new
going with
name?
permanently. Yeah.
New name, same level of skill. To those who have not yet been introduced to you, you want to say hello and tell us a little bit about your team?
Sure. So, anytime anyone talks about us, I guess it always starts with like 2 arc into nice, and now what is like the most common or like the newest iteration, Donkeys Are Us slash the 101st and Northumberland Fusiliers, which is only still the name because I decided I had to click too many times to like make a new team name on Battlefy. So we were just like, whatever, just let it ride. But yeah, no, it's like we have a really really good crew. Everyone is super dedicated both to being successful and to the team, and everyone has a really good work ethic. So it's a great group of guys to play with. Very amenable. Rarely do people butt heads, and then we can, if that happens, we just say take it to the replay, and kind of let's figure out how to all get on the same page. And it's just been a good process moving forward as a team so far.
Nice, man. I think it's really important to point out that you guys have been around for a long time. I'm sure there are people that have been spectators and fans of the amateur scene that see a name like 101st Northumberland Fusiliers or Donkeys R Us, and they don't really get the connection to Nice or 2-Arc. So there's definitely been something of a history and an evolution for you guys. Last season for HeroesHype Tempo Storm Series, you guys were the winners. At the time, your name was 4 Guys and a Legend. Legend moved on, left that team, left you guys, went over to Flame is Lame, but you picked up Picante. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the season. You said he's been a great addition. Since then, going into the finals now, how does he fit in with the rest of the roster?
So, first, him, Legend and him had a very similar hero pool, which whenever you're trying to plug and play a player into a slot like that, that always helps a lot. And then obviously Picante / aka Drake brings such an extremely high level of mechanical skill, so that was great too. But I think why he's been a better fit for our team and why I'm really excited moving forward is he came in like a little bit more of a blank slate, like a lump of clay. And so we were more able to say, like, we view this fight, like in replay or whatever, this way. This is how we think we should handle the situation. And next time it happens, this is how we want to handle it next time, so we don't screw it up again or whatever. And then, like, I can remember oftentimes Legend and I, or Legend and LZ, in those types of situations wouldn't see eye to eye or be able to find like the common ground to get a one mind. But with Drake, it's very much he's like, hey, no, that sounds great. Like, okay, like, we'll do the full back line dive and leave Gul'dan hanging in the wind or something, just something like that. And so I think we have been able to become more synergistic as a team as a result of having him on the team. So, Legend's a player of that skill level, always missed, but I think we're doing just fine.
I'd have to agree with that. I mean, it's something really cool to bring in a player that hasn't been around for very long, like Drake, but has just a vast amount of potential. And I think in a lot of ways it's reinvigorated you guys and has really opened you up to new strategies by having, a newer perspective. I think it's definitely something that's helped you guys out. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, too. I mean, his story was just kind of funny. It's like he was literally sitting around, like Legend told us he was leaving the team. We made a quick list and he was on the top of our list. And he, like, no one had really tried to pick him up. But it was also a timing thing. It was like the feeding frenzy for the next season of Open was just about to start, and we just got there a couple days earlier. Because he said, like, people kept messaging him, like, for days after we had just kind of picked him up. So in that regard, too, I feel kind of lucky that we got there first. And then also it was such a good fit, so he hasn't been disgruntled at all or anything like that.
Definitely, man. So for you specifically, you guys won HeroesHype last season, like I said. What would it mean for you to have the roster change to go under a new name, how would it feel to win Series 2 of HeroesHype Tempo Storm?
Oh, I mean, of course, anytime you can put, weeks and weeks of effort into something like these, these seasonal leagues and then come out on top, oh, it's such a great feeling. And it's, it's like the payoff of all the hard work, the blood, the sweat, and the tears, and like the sacrifices you make, all those nights where you're grinding out these tournaments late into the AM, you got work in 4 hours and you don't have exactly the best day the next day, but then to be able to come in and just really convert on what you're trying to do, obviously, that's a really good feeling. Like, I'm pretty excited that Imported Support is playing this championship as well, because they didn't play the last one. So I think that'll up the level a fair amount for the overall tournament too.
Absolutely. I mean, the North American amateur scene has definitely escalated a good degree, I would say, in the overall level of play, specifically in HeroesHype Tempo Storm Series. Like you said, there are some higher profile teams now, like yourself, like Imported Support. I think the finals are definitely going to be a stronger challenge than the last go around. But at the same time, you guys specifically have really been making a name for yourself. One of the 2 amateur teams to make it in the Bloodlust. You guys are top contenders in the open division. Do you guys feel you're on track to make it through the Crucible and into the HGC?
I think this is my feeling, and I think it's largely reflected by the team that we're close, but we're not quite there yet. Like, we're performing at a decent enough level for like the Open Cups and then HeroesHype. Obviously, we just didn't have a very good showing in Bloodlust, but there were I could make some pretty strong excuses there. I don't know, like for the first series, we found out 5 minutes beforehand that we were playing on West. I think I played 14,990 games of HOTS on Central and maybe 10 on West. And like, that was a big blind side. And that was like the 6th day of tournaments in a row I think we played. So everyone was grouchy, pissy, and nobody played well. So I think, but anyway, back to your original question. I think the only thing we really need to make it to that, like really the top level where I could give you an emphatic yes, like we're ready for the gauntlet, is we need everybody to play well at the same time. Like, a lot of the times, just because of real life schedules, I feel like we often come in and like a couple people are dragging or whatever reason, and we haven't assumed our final form yet. Watch out when we do. I
think that's a really interesting point to make. Like, everyone has an off day in all things in life. So finding that rhythm to where everyone's like, we're all firing on all cylinders, I definitely think that's something to really consider. One thing that I'm really interested to see, and it's something that we've seen a few times in HeroesHype Tempo Storm Series and other places in the amateur scene, you guys have played against Flame is Lame, and it's been some of the most inspiring, exciting games of Heroes that I can recall in recent memory. Is that a team that you guys try to specifically show up for, given that Legend's on that team, or are there any other teams that you're like, all right, guys, like this is it, like we got to make sure we're doing well?
Okay, so Flame is Lame, right? And I want to be clear that in no way am I being disrespectful to anyone here.
Yeah.
But I think in the past month, we've actually only lost one single competitive game to Flame is Lame. And our scrim track record is pretty similar to that. So we've pretty much set our sights up the ladder a little bit more now. Like, we have a great camaraderie with the team. Love all the players on that team.
Yeah.
Great scrim partners. But I guess the answer is no. We don't really get that hyped up to play them anymore. We're, like I said, we set our sights to the next level. Like, we're still looking to take a big chunk out, hold it down sooner or later. Again, I think once we assume our final form, we'll be able to do that. But that's kind of where our eyes are set right now.
That's amazing, man. I think it really speaks to the growth that you guys have had as a team. Because like in the earlier parts of this series, you guys definitely were more neck and neck. So for you to feel that way now and have the track record to objectively say that, I think it really speaks to your overall growth as a team. So would you say like imported support maybe is probably the biggest threat or team you're looking out for in the finals?
Oh yeah, I'd say they're the favorite. So I again, objectively, I'd edge them out just a little bit over us. Certainly within striking distance, but I think going in, they're the favorite right now.
So feeling that way that they on paper are the favorite. Right before the finals goes on, it comes down to you and them. Mm. What do you say to your team to rally the proverbial troop to be like, we can still win this? Like, what do you say to your team?
I think everyone's like so dedicated, motivated. It's not a thing of motivation. It's more like, let's go over the list of stupid shit we've done to lose games we should win again, and and just check those off. Like, okay, there was a game, I can't remember what tournament it was, but it was against supported support. And like their opening draft was like Oriole, Anubarak, Greymane. And this is imported support. And then Herp Derp, we don't second ban Cho'Gall. Like, ooh. Yeah, right? Like, not only did we lose that game, I think, in an embarrassing fashion, we know better, and we deserve to lose that game in an embarrassing fashion for making a draft mistake like that. So, like, get the little, like, list of shame and just make sure we're not going to, we're going to be in a position to come out and play and not beat ourselves by doing something real dumb like that.
I think that's a very cool insight to have, because I was looking at the question more from, like, playing to a certain level and trying to go above that. Whereas you guys are more like, your perspective is more, if we minimize our mistakes, we already feel confident enough in our level of play. It comes down to the team that makes the fewer mistakes. And I think that's a subtle but important distinction. Do you think that that's something that you guys have focused on over the past few weeks, like just to minimize the mistakes more so than increase the level of play?
Well, there's a word I like to use in practice, and that's poise. And that's like the thing I'm always trying to instill. And like, actually the player who really like epitomizes that more than I think anybody else maybe in the community is LZ Gamer, who has been through the gambit, like, of esports already. Like, I mean, the guy's already had a full esports career if he wanted to just hang up the gloves, but like nothing phases him. He's like, sometimes we eat a bad loss, and he's like, references this StarCraft 2 game like 6 years ago where he's like, watch this, like, I lost so bad they actually like dumped Gatorade on me, and we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess like that wasn't great, but it wasn't so bad. And just like the level of poise that he brings in that, I guess that's what we're trying to achieve. You look at like when you get to the real top end of mechanical skill, I think it does a lot of the times come down to limiting mistakes more than the dramatic play. Like, usually the best dramatic plays are born of desperation when you're kind of screwed already. But our goal is to not be desperate and just play our game and limit the mistakes. If you're going to fall behind small. And then, if you fall behind huge, just throw it all to the wind and see what happens.
Poise. I like that. I like that word a lot. I think in a lot of ways it's really encapsulated your team, because you guys have operated under pressure. Like, one thing I remember specifically talking with you at the finals of last series was like, I was like, tell me about the Jaina pick. Like, because there were so many like cutting edge moments where you were like one health away from dying, and you just pulled out the Ring of Frost in the bottom lane of Battlefield of Eternity and just turned the whole team fight around. So hearing that poise is something that you guys emphasize on. I'm not surprised, but I think it's a really cool angle to bring to the team. Well, I mean, those are all the questions that I have. To the fans that will be rooting on 101st Northumberland Fusilier / Donkeys RS, what would you say to them to get them rallied up and hyped for you guys in the finals?
I said it. I think I said it twice. We haven't assumed our final form yet, but man, just wait. We're gonna. And then, get your sticks out and your marshmallows and be ready for a show. We're going to make people shiver. They're going to say, ooh, that was so good.
I like it, man. Confidence and rising potential. That's definitely you guys. Best of luck to you in the finals. I can't wait to see you guys in action.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex.